This week's episode is proudly sponsored by Texas Roadhouse, where there's legendary food with legendary service.
Welcome back. Feeling very studious today.
You are studious.
I'm a what?
I'm a what? So good.
For the listeners at home, I'm wearing Harry Potter glasses. Welcome back to What the Podcast. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
Together we are
Ryan and John.
on the couch, as always, Annie the Skovmand.
There she is in her close-up shot. This is your moment.
Cara Tafolla
I would have
is
put makeup
out.
on if I thought about the fact that it would
I can
be
whiten it
close-up.
up. I can whiten it
It
up.
is
No,
a
no, no, I
video
want it up close and
podcast.
personal.
It's a video podcast, by the
Yeah,
way.
it's
Oh,
been
you're
a video
saying
since
I
day
need
one.
to have makeup on always? I look like a freaking gremlin.
No,
without
only
makeup?
you're saying that.
No,
Only you are
that's what
saying
you
that.
just said.
That-
That is
okay.
what you said. That
Guys,
women don't have rights.
I had a thought
hell's
on the
wrong
way
with
over
you?
here. Okay, no, they have rights. Just stop.
I love that you feel the need to like substantiate it. They have rights.
No, they have
So
plenty
good.
of rights. I had a thought on the way over here.
That's the first.
Thanks.
Oh, she's choosing
She's
violence.
coming in hot
She
this
is
week.
choosing
and
violence.
I don't know if I dislike it
This
yet.
is about
We're going to the
breakfast. This is
pancake
about
house after.
breakfast.
Okay, we're definitely going to the pancake house. That's not the thought.
Okay, what's your thought?
The speed limit is 65 miles per hour, right?
On most
Generally in California on the
Sure.
freeways. Maybe you get, into the desert, more into the, Midwest of this country, and it gets a little higher, 70. I think I've seen up to like a 75 miles per hour. Why do they make cars be able to go way faster than that? Why don't you just make top speed on a car 65 miles per hour?
Oh
Cue
my
Annie's
gosh,
bullshit.
if you were like a freaking loser. First of all, you drive the speed limit.
That's not the question. No, the question is if the law is saying you can only drive that speed,
There's lots of different
why are they
different
letting
places.
car manufacturers make cars that go faster?
First of all, most of our car manufacturing does not happen in the U.S.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And so in the
So
other
that's why.
places,
So that's
maybe
why.
it's different.
So I've got a Volkswagen. So you're saying over there in Germany, they're well, that's true. They have the Autobahn.
Yeah, they have the Autobahn that has no speed limit.
Okay, but also a lot of cars made in Japan, you know for a fact they're not driving that speed right now.
You don't know. I don't know what happens in
I-
Japan.
Okay, fair. Fair, I guess.
When's the last time you checked it on
Go ahead, John.
Japan?
I was gonna say I think it probably. I do see what you're saying in terms of just in California, if you drive like a couple hours east, you can get into a spot where it's like 70,
Sure.
or
Which means
75.
85.
Yeah, right. But I also was gonna say that I do think it's probably just about like a standard, like some sort of. Hey, this is how fast we want cars to go, because they all generally, except for when you get into like supercars, they all generally go to like you can hit 100, but it's like you're really maxing out your car at that point.
Well,
you
yeah,
know
what's
what
the
I'm saying?
fastest you've ever hit?
I hit 100 going on a road trip one time. In the
Easily.
Prius.
Easily.
In the
I was driving, and the
Prius?
problem with
Dang.
the Prius is it's like such a smooth drive, especially on the freeway. Like I didn't realize I was driving that fast. I looked up, it was 100 miles. I was like, oh
Dude,
my
I've hit
God.
100 like not even thinking about it. Like coming down the freaking 52, bombing the hill, like just
That's a little crazy.
jet engine.
That's a little crazy.
Engine.
What? I mean, like you don't do that? Come
if-
on.
Not on the 52. The 52
Please.
is pretty known for having highway patrols.
Really?
Yeah, well-
Never
Careful.
seen.
Going the other way, going up the hill.
Well, they know it's a speed trap. That's why.
Well,
So
listen.
go ahead. Ann.
If they put a cap on a car that you can go past a certain speed,
Yeah.
Fast and Furious movies dead.
True.
Whole
We do
franchise
like fast
killed.
cars.
We love
Or the
fast
whole movie
cars.
would be like,
What
we got to
about
modify this car to
NASCAR?
go 70 miles per hour.
Oh, how much
Oh my
cooler
gosh,
is
that's
that?
So good.
They've-
It's like the most like basic.
I'm just using a wrench. I don't know how that works.
That's
but-
how they do it with a wrench.
Yeah, we're big mechanics.
One more
so-
time. What was the wrench noise?
Like this.
Okay. It sounded like.
Oh, yeah, maybe I was doing that.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't know.
doing the.
This one. Oh, no, this one.
Gosh. I don't know why you populated every sound effect button with like various Jordan noises.
Hey, by the way,
Whoa.
Go ahead.
this existed before What the Podcast.
It
We
did.
used to use this on Growing Pains all the time.
Growing pains.
Cool.
So that's why there's predetermined sound effects,
That was a classic Jordan soundtrack on.
Yeah,
Growing
we use
Pains.
that all the time.
Typical growing
But, okay,
pains thing.
The speed. I've been thinking about cars
Stay on
recently
track,
too.
boys.
Okay, let's hear it.
Mainly because I was driving up the freeway and I saw a sign. And in California, and I'm sure other places, they have the big LED signs are like, buckle up, it's the law. And
Yes.
stuff like that. The other day I'm driving and I kind of felt like maybe I was in a fever dream.
Okay.
And it said, watch out for bicycles
On the freeway?
on the freeway. And I said,
Wait a second.
are there bicycles on the freeway now?
Was it like some
was
kind
like
of Tour de
big-
France
No,
thing?
it was like multiple days in a row. And it was like, brake for bicycles. And I was like, it's the freaking freeway. And it's like a 6-lane freeway.
Maybe they were protesting. Was there like some kind of bike protest?
What, like against gas?
Well,
No,
yeah,
against
you
like
would
bad
get
bike
on.
lanes.
Not my
against
bikes.
bad.
Not my.
I put gas in my bikes.
Oh my gosh. There's this guy on TikTok that like films himself riding his bike every day in New York because people notoriously like don't respect the bike lanes there.
Yeah.
And every day he's like, "Thanks, asshole." Like he'll like almost clip pedestrians walking, or people will just fully park their cars right in the middle of the bike lane. And he's just like very outspoken about like that's not where your car goes. That's not a like he just like
So good.
razzes people up.
Jeez.
I like driving over the speed limit.
That's great. Me too.
Have you ever gotten a speeding ticket?
Oh yeah.
Have you, John?
Nope.
I think I've told you guys this story, but like one of the first couple of times after I started dating Cara that I was at her house, I like fully was just and like right by
High on
the freeway
love.
entrance. Yeah, just high on love,
high on love.
driving home, thinking about, my new
just
girlfriend and boo,
And
like
beefing
right there.
bad.
Yeah.
Be-
Yeah, right there at the freaking side of the road.
Side of the road. Boop, boop, boop.
Blasting
Just
past it.
one.
Just one. Just the one.
Oh.
Yep.
I've gotten
Saucy,
pulled
one.
over for speeding quite a bit. I've never gotten a ticket though.
Right. That
You just
cop
you just
child
say,
privilege
hey,
will
do you
do
know
that.
Dan
right?
Albright?
Yeah, totally.
Not always.
Daddy?
Not
My
always.
daddy's a cop.
You have to be creative about how you get a ticket. The cop
You
thing
go-
doesn't work anymore. By the
You
way.
go, yeah, I really
What do you
respect
mean?
you guys. Thanks for what you do. My
Like,
brother
Now,
we got
is
okay,
a
pulled over-
sergeant.
correct me if I'm wrong. You
Go.
guys get like a sticker that goes on the back
You
of
No,
your
can,
they
but
car.
it's not a good. We don't have them because it's not a good
Gangs.
idea a lot of times because there is a whole faction of, albeit small, of the police department that doesn't like the idea that because your family member is a police officer, you get out of a ticket. So like this is a different department, but in
Word.
Colorado when we were driving back. Jordan and I, we were just driving around in Colorado because she went to school out there, and we were going on this notorious highway that apparently has a lot of cops. Well,
Okay.
Jordan and I don't know that, and Jordan's driving very fast, like
She's
As
just
Jordan does.
87,
lead footing it.
87 in a
She
by
is
the way
terrifying
in
to
a
drive with.
It's not that
65.
fast.
And I look
Easy.
up and I go, and she loves when I comment on her driving, by the way. She loves it. And I go, hey, you're going kind of fast. And she's like, no, I'm not. And she kind of slows down. But right when that happened, right when she slows down, the lights come on.
Yeah.
And the guy comes up, classic, like whatever. And then he goes, and I think, okay, I always try, it's hard because you kind of have to, if you're going to drop the name of a police officer, which I don't do
Which you're
anymore.
about to. Here it comes.
You have to kind of, I feel like you kind of have to be sly about it because it does really come across like, my dad's a police officer. me,
Totally. Like
right.
there's a saying about the shoemaker's children always go barefoot, right?
Right,
a bunch of cops' kids are out speeding and like getting away with it. That's weird.
Sure.
But
and so I kind of like, it wasn't very good, but again, it was late at night and I was just like, hey, like my brother's a police officer. Thanks for like everything you do. Like we know
Sure.
like how hard it is out there. And he leans down with the flashlight, flashes it in my face. He goes, why would you say that? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, well, why would you say it?
why would you say
And I was
that?
like,
because I'm trying to get out of a ticket. What do you mean?
was like,
Why would I
don't-
say that?
And then I was like, I don't know. I was like, because we're a police family, I guess, and we know how hard the job is. And he's like, you're not trying to get out a ticket, are you? And I was
oh my
like,
God.
no, I
a
guess.
psycho.
And he's like, and then he kind of just like really questioned me on it. And then he went back and he ended up giving her a ticket. And at the end, he's like, hey, sorry about that. He goes, sorry about that. I just don't think it's fair that like police officers' family thinks they can get out tickets. And I was like, hey man, like whatever,
That's
like
not
do your
what
thing.
was happening.
You know?
I mean, it
And-
was what was happening here.
But like, do your
like
but I don't think I was very blatant about it necessarily. It wasn't like
Sure.
my dad's a cop. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to be sincere about it. And he's like, well, it's good to know we have fans out there. I was like,
Yikes!
You.
Yikes!
So yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out, but in San Diego, I've never had any issue. But again, I don't always like. One time I was running out of gas, legitimately,
Sure.
and he caught me on my phone. The worst type of ticket because
Is
can't
it?
really
How much you?
what.
Oh,
But he doesn't know.
I
He
di-
never got.
you
the
just
I
mean
never
like
got a ticket.
emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've never gotten a ticket.
Well, no,
so.
it's hard because when they catch you on your phone, there's like no excuse, right? Like you're just on your phone, right? And so he
okay.
pulls me over, and he's like really hardcore, and he's like, "I pulled you over for a cell phone infraction or whatever," and I was like, "Okay." Like he was very to the letter, and I was like, "I'm not getting out of this." And then he's like, "What was going?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm running out of gas." Like I really was. I was calling my mom to like see if she could send me money because I didn't have any money in my bank account at the time. And he came back and he gave me a warning, which was really nice. But
I feel like I disagree. I feel like that's the easiest one to get out of. Because they have
Yeah.
speedometers and they're like, yeah, I clocked you at this. Like you were
Yeah,
speeding.
but then it's like you were on
it's
your
like,
phone.
I
I was
saw
like-
you on your phone. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. All right.
Yeah,
My
you're gonna
phone's in my
say that,
bag.
though?
Of
Come
course,
on.
you're gonna stick your phone in your bag because freaking cops coming.
But you want to hear something crazy? When my
Yeah.
brother started driving, he had like one of the his first cell phone.
Okay.
This is Bobby, oldest brother.
Yep.
And it was just like this chunky phone. And my dad told him he had to put his phone in the trunk every time he went to drive.
And knowing
And
Bobby, he
did it
Yeah.
every
Oh.
single time. Isn't that crazy?
Just to make sure, I know for a fact you're not going to be
Yes.
on your phone while you
What?
drive.
That's so weird.
You know who the-
So weird.
My dad is the worst. He's always on his phone when he's driving, and it's like trying to text and stuff. And I'm literally like, you are so toxic.
Yeah.
And
not because of the phone, just in general.
just in
but go
general.
ahead.
Okay.
I love you, Dad. Happy Father's Day,
Jim, I don't feel
Happy
this way.
Father's Day.
I don't feel that way, Jim.
And my mom and I are like, and my mom has this classic phrase that she said because he'll get like road rage or crazy tailgate and like all this stuff, and
Dang,
it's
what?
this like term, and she just would go, Jesus, Jim. Jesus, Jim. It was like this like catchphrase of our lives. Jesus, Jim. Can you drive any closer to that car? Jesus, Jim, get off your
Oh
phone.
my gosh.
And she'll go, and so now my sister and I will start doing, Jesus, Jim, get off your phone.
That's
And-
gotta be rough.
And
for
I'm like,
him.
listen, man, you're too old to know how to do it wisely.
Yeah.
'Cause let's
How
be
is he so
real.
good at texting and driving?
He's not. He's really bad at it, and that's the problem. Let's be real. You hit the voice text. You have him read it out loud. You're like, okay, yeah, say this. You're driving. Scroll on TikTok a little bit, but you put it on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
That's the key. Is you
Dude.
have to see it, and you can be looking at your phone in your peripheral, but you look at the road.
Ryan's gonna kill me
Okay,
right
think about how crazy. No. Like, right? They basically do that now. Like, they have CarPlay.
Yeah.
Like, that is literally like built into the car, distracted driving. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
oh,
have
I'm just
CarPlay.
gonna.
And then CarPlay will
that's
be
like-
like, do you want? It'll have options for you to interact with.
Sure.
Because remember before, it was like way back in the day when
Mm-hmm.
smartphones were like actually smart. And it was like, hey, like you can't use
What?
this when
I
you're
don't know.
going a certain mile an hour. It will be like driving mode.
Oh, my phone still does that.
Yeah, and it'll, like someone will text you and it'll automatically just be like, hey, they're driving. They'll get back to you later.
Dang.
I remember when Do Not Disturb had a driving function where, and they still have it, but we can detect when you're in a car and it'll put your phone on Do Not Disturb, which is genius because then you don't know what you're missing, right?
Yeah.
The hardest
Sure.
part about when you're driving and you get a text is you're like, I want to know what it says. You know,
The hardest part of driving is the FOMO for you.
FOMO, the texting.
You're like,
FOMO.
what's going on right
That's
now?
the hardest part of all
Finger
jobs,
on the
like-
pulse. Hey,
FOMO.
be
Wow.
nice. It is. It
Well,
is.
I just want to say, let's be real. While you're running errands, your FOMO's gonna be.
Whoa.
killing you.
Hey.
Believe it or not, FOMO's not kicking in on that. I have so much to do. It's not even funny.
Yeah, he doesn't like
Wow,
pancakes.
he
so.
hates us.
Hey, you know who's gonna feel the FOMO this weekend?
What's up?
Me.
Oh.
Because you guys
My
go to
sister's
the
getting
wedding
married.
of the year.
Hey, I can tell you details because this comes out
Wedding of
after the
the
wedding.
year.
Oh, let's
I can tell you
Details.
secrets about
Tell
the
us.
wedding.
Oh my gosh,
Whoa.
this is so fun. We're
Wedding
in the future and the
secrets.
past and the present.
fun for us.
I'm gonna break
not
the
fun
fourth
for
wall.
everyone else. Yeah,
Because
do it.
we're recording this a little bit ahead of time this
Yes,
week
yeah.
because people are out of town. Annie's in Europe at this time.
I'm in Europe.
Oh, we'll get to that in a second. We'll
And
circle back.
We'll circle back.
Yeah.
So you know how Albright weddings go for the most part. There's
Big.
There's,
We've been in them.
I've actually only been to one. So.
okay. Well,
They're big.
But the
They're-
one was crazy.
yeah, and there's always so here I'll go back a little bit in time. My brother got married in 2017, and they were just expecting a speech out of Bobby and I.
Right,
the pact that my siblings have with us, us four, is that we all get a chance to make a speech at each other's wedding, no matter how the configuration goes.
I was
Go ahead.
curious about that because I did
Yes.
notice that all four of your siblings, all three of them got a speech.
Yeah. It's a pact we made a long time ago when David got married, because David's like, David, we're just really close, I guess. I don't know. I don't know
four
how to
of you.
describe it, I guess. And so David's like, yeah, Bobby and John get a speech. And even Beth spoke at David and Amanda's wedding, which is, I'm not sure if she was a maid of honor or not. I don't know.
I don't think she. I don't know.
I don't think she
Anyway.
was. Anyways, so Bobby and I are making a speech, and I had this brain blast the night before the wedding where I'm writing this song in my head. I'm like, oh, it'd be funny to surprise people with the song, break out the guitar and play a song. So Bobby and I the day of the wedding get together. We finalize the song. I don't even remember how it went. It was a long time ago, and we printed out lyric sheets.
Kind of feel like you do. But
Printed out lyric sheets, and we did this impromptu song. Nobody knew about it, and I built up the whole day. I was like, oh, I'm not going to make a speech. I'm not feeling into it. My brother David was so hurt apparently that I wasn't going to give a speech. And then basically we break out this guitar, we sing the song, whole thing. Now it's launched this new layer of, now there's got to be a performance, because you can't just
Wow.
Yeah,
give a
you
speech,
can't just give a speech now.
So you guys were there at my wedding. They did a whole lip sync thing. It was 25 minutes long.
We were
Yeah.
in the lip syncs.
It was long.
It was
long.
psychotic.
It was
Yeah.
long, yeah.
It was crazy.
So this, my sister wanted us to do something, but Jake's family's not really into the Albright production element of our
Yeah.
family.
And it's
What? Outspokenly?
Not outspokenly, but
But it's oh,
yeah, they're
cool.
oh, cool. So Jake's parents were at my wedding.
Okay.
And I could just tell their parents were hopefully we don't have all this at Beth and Jake's. And
Oh,
so
you're doing it.
It's been a conversation back and forth. What are we going to do? The whole thing. And so we settled on, we rewrote the lyrics to a song. It's a really short little 3-minute song, because we were given a 5-minute time slot. Very strict 5 minutes, a hard 5 minutes.
yes.
And so
I love that the back and forth was they don't want you to do it, and you really want to do it, so you decided on doing it.
No, we weren't going to do it, but Beth
Beth
wants to do it.
requested it.
Beth is big. Beth said that she really wants us to do it. She's fighting that battle, like anybody does, where it's you want something.
Everyone does. Everyone fights
Everybody
the battle
fights
of
that battle.
having a performance.
Can
at
I
your
or can I
wedding.
not perform at your wedding in my
What I
allotted
mean-
5-minute time
What
slot?
I
Can
mean
I
by
have
the
25
battle is
minutes?
when you get married, and you know this, Ryan.
I
You're
know this.
constantly playing the
Not
in-law
you,
game.
Annie.
Oh, what? I don't know it because I'm
Yeah, well,
freaking alone and
Yeah.
sad.
Well, when you get married, you'll understand too.
Oh,
You're
because I've
constantly-
never been to a wedding.
No, I'm not talking about the wedding. I'm talking about
Archie's
the in-law game. You're having to keep
yeah.
the peace between your partner's family, and also
Yeah.
it's not necessarily always that big of a deal, but there are compromises that have to be made when you're
Sure.
talking about two different families here.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I mean by that. My sister's in that particular.
So
element.
what's the song?
we rewrote the lyrics to our song by Taylor Swift, and we made it their song. And it
Their
was
song is the same as
And you're talking about them sneaking out to see each other, and all of it.
Yeah.
So good.
Pretty much.
So
Good.
good.
Wait.
There are some
Wait,
edgy
what?
parts.
They've been dating since high school, and there's some
really good
saucy-
stories.
saucy
Whoa,
stories in that
saucy
history.
stories.
Yeah. I haven't told you those ones.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Maybe
They have
that's
I
quite-
did not
they have
know if
quite-
maybe
we
that's
would
stories
want
for
saucy
off the
stories on the
podcast.
podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we will.
And we won't do that to you, Jake and Beth. We got you.
But we do love them. We do love those two. Wow.
be-
Wow.
Yeah.
Party of the year.
I don't know,
here.
250 people. So
Whoa.
yeah,
Burr.
And I made that cut.
Cool.
right. Play it cool. Hey, play
Hey,
it cool.
hey, really happy for everybody
oh.
involved. It's
Man,
gonna be a
it's
beautiful night.
Suck
And
for everyone who's not there.
and
Are you sure about that?
and me and Artie are gonna hang out all night.
Yeah, you
We're gonna
you
swap
are.
scary
You're gonna come pick
stories.
me up from
Gonna watch movies. Eat a bunch of crazy candy and snacks. We're gonna hang out all night.
When you're trying to make yourself feel better about not getting invited.
The FOMO. I'm just gonna put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Put it on
Driving mode. Artie
It
mode.
should be called FOMO mode.
FOMO mode.
FOMO mode.
You can make whatever. You can
Let's
rename
workshop
it,
that.
technically,
Let's
but-
rename it. Okay.
And my FOMO continues because Annie is living out my dream
Ryan's
of an
FOMO is
eat,
real.
pray, love.
Oh yeah.
Okay, freaking Annie. Here's some backstory. We've talked about it on the podcast before. Annie's been planning this European vacation, and we'll sometimes, get together. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Are you excited for Europe? She's like, yeah, And it's always like she had to make some payments towards it. So she's like, I'm just like really, hurting for cash right now. I'm not sure if this is going to be super fun. Like, what even is
that
Europe?
True? Is that true? You're hurting for
It
cash
is
flow?
100% true. It is 100% true.
Let me just say, a European. I'm going for a month. 1 month. 5 different countries.
that's a
1
lot.
month.
Not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Well, yeah, you're doing like the full gambit. Like
Yeah.
most people just do like one country and come back for a week or whatever. You're doing like 5 countries in a month-long thing. Like that's insane.
And I'm
I paid.
so excited for Annie.
Yeah.
But
thank you.
I just have to keep reminding Annie that she's also excited.
My thing is, I started working 3 jobs to afford it, which is great.
Sure.
And here's my thing.
which
like,
is great. Which is great. You know what I'm saying?
which is great. The thing that's been really nice is I was able to pay like 90% of it up front.
Sure.
Like I've been doing payments. So when we go, I'll have some to pay when I get back, but like really not a ton in grand scheme of like the trip. Most of it's
Sure.
already paid. Most of it, all of our transportation's already paid. All the hotels already paid. Like what we're really
Awesome.
buying out there is
Food and little
Like
experiences off the
Tchotchkes.
little
I'm
tchotchkes.
gonna hit a gondola ride in Venice and
Yeah.
hit some pasta.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And hit up
Certainly.
some beach time and yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, yeah, that was
But
that
I'm
was
going.
really exhausting.
So when this comes out, what day will it come out?
This is going to come out
Wednesday.
next Wednesday.
Wednesday, the
The episode's every Wednesday.
what day of the month?
It'll probably be the
21st.
9th, it looks
It'll be
like.
the 20.
Oh,
This is coming out on
the
June
21st.
21st.
June 21st. The
you're right.
21st, I will be in Athens.
Whoa.
I'll be in Athens.
You'll be
Having
living
my
out your
Lizzie
Hercules.
Lizzie McGuire moment
And
in
also
Europe.
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes.
hit up Rome after
Oh, yeah.
after Greece, and we're gonna go Trevi Fountain, a little Sing for Me Palo,
Dang. Little Cheetah Girls too.
little Cheetah Girls. Oh, we almost went to Barcelona.
Damn, you're
but
not
we
going to
didn't.
Barcelona.
No.
okay.
But so we're gonna
Didn't make the
do
cut.
Greece, then we're gonna do 7 days in Greece.
Wow.
I think so. That's 7. Yep.
Ugh.
7 days in Greece, 10 days in Italy.
What a burden.
7 days in France. We're gonna split that between the French Alps and Paris.
Wow.
And then we're gonna go London for 2 days, and then Dublin for 4 days.
I should just have this camera on Ryan while you explain this.
Okay, and here's the thing, right? And so it's been
That's so
a lot of
cool.
change and stress. I'm literally like moving before I go on this trip. Like there's just a lot to happen. So for me, it was like this looming of all the things I need to do before the trip. And so Ryan will be like, "Oh my gosh, are you so excited?" And I'm like, "No."
She's like reluctantly telling me, she's like, yeah. And then we're like every time it's like, yeah. And then we're going to,
stressed out.
we're going to finish the trip in Dublin. And I'm just like, really, like, yeah, we're going to spend like a big sigh. Like we're going to spend
And then we're gonna finish the trip in Dublin, which is really rough.
10 days in
Days.
Greece.
I'll admit that is exactly how I've been sounding.
God.
I'm really excited, but I'm already tired from it.
Yeah.
I haven't even been to it. And I'm
Well,
like,
yeah, that's
oh.
kind of interesting because as everyone knows, vacations more often than not make you kind of more exhausted depending on what you do. And like you're going for a
Can't relate.
whole month.
Yeah.
Like you're going for an entire month of the year.
And I also I've worked every single day for like the last 3 months.
Yeah. Do you have a little debrief moment next week before you fly out or no? Like do you have like a day where you're just like gonna like chill?
My last day of quote unquote working was yesterday. I have
Oh, nice.
I have like some like clients to call and stuff like that.
quote
but
unquote yesterday. I love that.
quote unquote
That's
working.
Allegedly yesterday.
But I'm bringing my computer and I'll be working like remotely in Europe, like answering
What, like,
emails and stuff.
Doing table
and-
numbers or something.
Yeah,
She's gonna
I'm gonna bring
assemble-
the
Yeah, what are you
Cricut.
gonna-
She's assembling
Fine.
table
To mail back to the States.
France, and she's gonna mail it back.
That's cool. That's cool.
You're dead to me.
That's fine. No,
But
no
Ryan
pancake house for us.
has given me many. I don't want to say heart to hearts, like many a few moments where he's like, if you don't start getting excited for the trip, I'm gonna go and you're not gonna go. I'm gonna take your ticket.
Yeah.
Because you need to be excited. Annie,
Yeah.
I'm so effing done with you.
Oh, sorry that, yeah, you're literally living out a European dream.
I've
and
never
you're like
seen Eat,
pissed
Pray,
about it.
Love.
I've never seen somebody so mad about going on vacation before. You're like,
Yes, I'm just tired.
and then we gotta, yeah, I mean, all my flights,
tired,
yeah,
and
it's all
then-
paid for. And I'm just like, I'm just having a hard time.
How
like,
much do you think a European vacation costs?
I have no idea. I
Spitball
seriously
it.
don't know.
Month in Europe. How much?
A
would
month
you
in
pay?
Europe?
I'm gonna say
Oh.
now you're going a little spendier than I might.
Yeah, well,
on this trip.
and that's the thing. You could do it for cheaper than we're doing it.
Sure.
We opted
But what's the
for
word? You're kind of
hotels instead of
balling
hostels.
out,
And,
you know?
yeah.
Balling out.
Balling out.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I know what she's paying.
Oh,
so,
what
so
the
it's for you to
you
guess, John.
guys-
It's for you to guess. Yeah, we
We talked
I
about it
sometimes.
literally yesterday.
Yeah.
I think it's going to cost total out the door between $7 and $8 grand.
That's pretty close.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I'm paying. It's like with like flights, everything. The only thing I have to pay for now is food. It came to like a little under 65.
That
63
feels
something.
kind of attainable, which is dangerous because it makes me
Now,
want to do it.
now here's the part she's not telling you is that they spent. What'd you spend on that Italian guided tour?
So yeah,
You're going
in,
on a
in
couple
Italy,
of tours.
In Italy, it's a tour where they book all of our hotels and everything for us, and
Nice.
there's like some attractions we do. They get all of our, what's it called,
Things
like
lined
bus
up.
fare and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's 65 or not 65. That is the whole price. It's 2,500.
See, that to me seems like it could be a trip just in itself.
Oh, and that's what the idea is you fly in, you pay for your flights there and from, and you come in, you have a full, 10-day vacation in Italy, and then you fly home.
I think that's
Sure.
what my brother and my dad and brother did. I think maybe.
Probably.
The full tour.
Yeah, they did. They did Italy. They did. It was like a 10-dayer, and they went through an agency and they hooked it all up and stuff like that.
Yeah, so in that case, like I was telling Ryan this, like you probably could do Italy cheaper. You probably could do one city and stay
sure.
there for multiple days, and you don't have to get all the bus
Yeah,
fare. You
I
could
mean-
stay in like hostels instead of hotels, and you could do.
Yeah.
You know.
My dad swears by that's the way to travel, especially in European countries, is like go through an agency and they
Yeah,
like
just
set it
get
all
it.
up for you because he's like it's so because he's like when they were there, he's like it's just like kind of confusing. I mean, like it's not like it's not like in America where everything seems very clear. Like it just is a little bit like
Right. 'Cause
it's
hard
like
to navigate
in another language.
Right, another language, the whole thing,
Bigots.
But screw
It's
you.
fucking racist. man.
So much.
That's crazy.
Screw you.
No, I get that. And like obviously I don't know, you can get taken advantage of like in this country too by
Yeah.
like touristy type people.
Sure.
But that's even like you could suss that out because you do speak English. Like
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
it would be harder if you're like, okay, I'm somewhere I'm not familiar with. I'm like I don't speak the language and I'm,
Right.
Yeah,
right.
you just like trust everyone because you're like, I have no other
Excuse me.
option.
Yeah.
right.
But
Well, exciting for you.
yeah, so we're
Exciting.
doing. Yeah, so it's gonna be really fun. There are some like in France, we're staying with people, so like we're not paying for hotels there, and so there's. It's
Oh, so
like
it kind of evens out,
Kind of
maybe.
evens out.
I hadn't
Like
considered that.
yeah, so it's interesting. I definitely think it's like for me, it was that kind of thing where I'm like, when you have the money, you're not gonna have the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I can make the money. You can't really. I feel like it's harder to make time than money.
Damn.
Whoa.
Straight up.
Whoa.
So- I
Catch
was
that
like-
one, Jen?
Damn. I'm writing that down. I'm getting tattooed right here.
Right
I
there.
love-
I
Done.
love a mural right here.
Harder to make time than money.
Yeah, I'll work
Because
on
it's
it.
that
Yeah.
kind of thing
By
where
the
it's
time she
like,
gets
I really okay. Shut up.
And it'll be an in memoriam of Annie if she gets back.
Oh,
If she comes back.
If she
'cause
doesn't get
I
hashtag
could,
taken,
I could get taken. I could get got. I could just.
I think those are the two the same things.
you
No.
might. Now here's the
Got
problem.
God's
dead.
killed. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, getting got.
He's killed. Got
Here's the problem: is you might meet your Italian mob boss when
My
you're over
husband.
there.
Oh.
Your Sopranos dream.
My
so-
You may never come back.
I would be such a good
Psychotic.
mob
It's
wife.
psychotic.
I'd be so good. I need a fettuccine.
Anita Fettuccine, which, by the way, doesn't sound like any name that ever existed.
That's because we're not saying it with the accent.
Anita Fettuccine.
Nope. Still not.
Racist.
That's not racist. That's Italian.
I was waiting for him to do it just so I could get it for it.
That's not racist. That's
really?
Italian.
Making fun of their culture.
Listen,
Yeah.
it's never racist to make fun of Italians. It's
true.
always funny.
As Jordan would say, why? Because you're Italian?
Yeah, you want to talk about racist?
Jordan has this
Let's
whole
not drag my
idea.
wife.
No, she's not.
God,
she's not here to defend
jeez,
herself.
And
I'm
she'll
not gonna
never
drag
hear
her.
it. And she'll never
She'll
hear
never
it.
hear it,
She'll
truly.
never hear this
She'll
podcast.
never-
My
Weird
favorite is she
podcast.
asked, like, oh, did you talk about this? We're like, yeah, that was 3 weeks ago.
And she'll be like, "Oh, what you guys are sponsored by Texas Roadhouse?" And we're like,
Yeah, that was months ago.
"Yeah."
She was like, literally last week, she's like, wait, you guys get money to like spot? I was like, yeah, we've been doing it for like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the support, Jordan.
And thank you,
It's
Texas
okay.
Roadhouse.
I kind of equate it to like, you know, I always tell them like it's like me going on to a photo shoot with her. You know, what I'm like, it's like not her. It's not my passion. It's not her. This isn't her passion. You know,
Is this your passion?
What?
Aw.
This isn't. I mean, this is like
You're passionate about
I love
this.
doing this. Yeah, it's like I
Sure.
wouldn't ask you to like watch. I wouldn't ask somebody to watch. You know, if I was into building
you wouldn't
models.
basically you wouldn't ask your partner to share in your passions with you.
Okay,
You-
I wouldn't ask.
No, I wouldn't either. No, me neither.
Okay, all right. Should I be requiring?
Not
Jordan to
requiring,
watch-
just highly suggesting. Just slide it across the dinner table tonight.
Happy wife, happy life.
The iPad, just
If you want Jordan to be
slide
happy,
it
you will
across
not
the-
make her
And then,
listen to these.
but as you're doing it, say, "Hey, I was thinking about like coming on a shoot with you this weekend," and just slide the iPad across
I don't know
to the episode, like
how
ready,
she'd
queued
enjoy
up.
it because I was literally like just my dad came over last night. We were just like talking about like the wedding and stuff.
Yes.
And she literally under her breath goes, "This is like listening to a bad podcast." And I'm like,
You mean a conversation?
yeah, like just with me and my dad. Like what? Like I was just like,
She
so,
is
I was
so
like now I'm like
unhinged.
I don't want you to listen to.
Oh
my
my
This is
god,
a bad
this is a
podcast.
bad podcast. You mean a conversation? Yeah.
She is so funny.
Wow.
She was
Wow.
on one last night. She
Unhinged.
was, oof.
You should next time she whips out her camera to take a picture, just be like, "Oh, that's like a better phone."
Oh, that's like an iPhone, but like nicer.
Oh,
right?
my iPhone does that. Oh, I like those colors. My iPhone takes pictures like that.
That's how I take
Just
you
hit her
killed.
with that.
That's how you get killed.
Oh, she'll kill you. She'll kill
Over
you.
time, of course.
Yeah,
Not,
no,
not
no.
all at once.
Slowly,
Like you know,
like
poison.
cyanide in the cereal every morning.
She doesn't-
Just a little bit.
What the hell is wrong with
You
you?
don't need cereal in the
She'd
morning?
have to. Well, she'd have to make food for.
Oh my God.
Damn,
Okay.
stop
cut that out.
roasting her.
Cut
Stop
that out. Cut
roasting
that out.
her.
She's not going to see it,
I
Annie.
know, but other people will
Go
tell
ahead.
her it's
Segue,
worse from
segue.
a third party.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
true.
God.
That is true.
It's fine. I feel good
Annie,
about it.
you were saying anything?
I was, and as I was saying it, I was like, shoot, what was I saying? What was I gonna say?
This is the podcast of a
Oh,
lifetime.
Podcast.
Well,
we
this is a
love
good time
it.
to tell. I mean,
tell
everyone,
me?
for everyone to know, you're going to be gone for.
Oh yeah.
3
Oh, that
weeks.
was. Oh, thank you. That's what I was gonna say. What are we gonna do without me? We're gonna shut
Well,
down.
we-
The,
Well, I'll
have
tell you
some
one
ideas.
thing: we won't have to fact check nearly as much. That's for sure.
I
we,
will
we can
say,
forget
I
about
come,
googling things.
I come out with the craziest facts, and my life is a game of telephone. I
Yeah.
hear a whisper on the street, and I'm like, "Did you hear?"
Yes.
I want you to know when we were talking about this speed limit thing, I was waiting for an explanation for you that like
Made no
was
sense.
a good chance that it was not right.
but
You know
it's
what I'm saying?
bullshitted good.
Bullshit
I love
again.
it.
It always feels professional.
My dad had this saying when I was growing up, because I get that from my sister. My sister would just say shit where you're like, where did you get that? And my dad goes, "That's a fact straight from your ass, and you can say that. You tell us right now. You got that straight from your ass."
I love Jim.
Jimbo.
He's like,
I
"That's a
love
fact
Jim.
right out of your ass. Stop saying that."
It's so funny.
good.
It's like Bucket Brigade. Like, you know, like you pass the bucket, a little water comes out every time. It's like, I saw this TikTok and it was like you when you're pretending not to get all your information from TikTok. And it's like, oh my gosh, guys, I read this article. Oh my gosh, I saw this on the news. Oh my gosh, and it's like you're getting
You
all
got
your,
it from TikTok.
You got
Shut
it
up.
all from
Shut
TikTok.
up.
I,
It's
well, I
from
think
TikTok.
I've always thought that was interesting because when social media started to really, kind of take off,
Yeah.
probably 15 years ago now, maybe more or less, I don't know, but another fact check.
Sure.
I assumed that information is going to be like quicker and more accurate.
Yeah.
But really, it's just not. It's worse,
Right.
probably,
No.
but I don't know.
I
My-
think it's more like just amplified everything. Like if you were capable of spouting some shit out before, like now your audience is bigger. And
Right.
now you can, and even if it's just like someone like that where I'm just like saying something that maybe is true, maybe is not true, maybe it's not hostile, but I just put this fact out into the world and potentially millions of people go, "Oh, that's true." And like, don't need to check the source. I'm just like, I just take it. And I'm so a victim of this. Like,
Me too.
I just take shit at face value all the time. And I'm like, when I'm so, but it's lame because I'm so like, oh, social media is dangerous and like misinformation. Like that's so my bag. But I'm also like, hey, you guys hear President Trump jumped over a shark on some water skis? Like that's pretty crazy.
it kind of is when you want the information to be true, right?
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like, you're wanting this, and you're like, this seems so cool. Like I wish it was true, and then it's like it's not.
Well,
I hate that.
My parents used to work in the news cycle. My mom was a reporter. My dad was a photojournalist for the newspaper for a long time.
UT, right?
The UT.
Let's
We hate them.
go.
Dead to
Paper
us,
media
dead
is
to us.
dead.
We hate them.
Wait, why do we hate them? Just
Paper
Because
media
they
is
laid
dead.
off my dad in the recession, and we literally hate them.
Which one?
The first one, the Depression.
okay.
The
He's
1930s?
he's so freaking old that he.
They like had just built the printing press and they're like, yeah,
Tell
we
me-
don't need you.
Sorry, this
I don't know
economic
why.
downfall is so rough.
I don't know why I thought Ryan was asking which father, which I don't
Oh,
know. You
which
don't
of my
have multiple,
daddies?
but
God or
I just
God or my actual father, or my sugar daddy? Which
Wait,
one?
you're saying the Union Tribune laid off God?
that sounds about right.
Go ahead,
And
Annie.
that's why they're going to hell.
So they were in the news cycle.
And I remember my mom saying this.
Go ahead.
I remember
Please,
my mom saying
finish
this
it.
thing where back in the day, like, it took so many times before a story would get like printed
Mm-hmm.
because it had to get fact checked. Like every single thing had to be approved, and it would take like upwards of like weeks
Yes.
to get anything approved. Like you watch Spotlight about
Mm-hmm.
the Spotlight column that their article about outing priest in Boston
Yes.
for molesting
Yes,
kids.
yes.
And the story behind that is that basically they were sitting on it for years. And it was so hard to get approved because they're like every single one of these has to have like 3 like back checks we have to make sure that everything in this is true.
But do you though, or is that just good
No,
journalism?
but that's how it was. That's how
Okay.
it was. Now it's all about who can get it out first.
Yeah.
And so like like sometimes you read an article, a real article about, Nicolas Cage and Lisa Marie Presley, and then you say it on a podcast and then you go back to go find the article and the article literally was just taken down. They're like,
Classic.
and I knew exactly where I found it, and I was like looking, and I was like, I'm not crazy. I read this article, and like even you go to other places, and it will have on the bottom like a huge list of different times it had been edited since it was published.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, you guys are just like, so if you see it, if it's like breaking news, it's probably wrong.
Our most viral TikTok is one of Annie just like making up some stuff. This podcast
good.
is equivalent
So
to like
good.
just open your window and like listen on the street, like
I told
what
you
people are saying.
We are historical fiction. It's loosely based on a time period.
Historical fiction.
True.
Wow.
But
It
it's
wasn't.
true. It's like now that no one cares about it being right, they want it to be out first.
I blame 9/11 for that. I mean, not like the
Oh.
truthness, but like
Like the terrorism or
no,
like
the 24-hour news cycle thing. Like now, back in the day, you could like the news would just turn off, right? And now it's like you can turn on the TV at any time of
Yeah,
day
and
and the
it's
news
going.
is on, and they're like spouting out some stuff. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not true.
and
Like
they got to make it sound important.
yes, and it's like that can't be healthy for anyone. Like to
No.
consume that much information at all. You know?
Well, I sent you that TikTok the other day about how when analog TV died.
yes,
Yeah.
awesome.
That was crazy.
So cool.
There were these guys, of course, like there's always
The AV bros.
yeah,
so good.
There's always these people in history that like they just know something momentous is gonna happen, and like nobody else is like everyone else is like whatever. Like they were basically going from analog to digital. And these guys like set up a camera and like had their analog TV on. They're like, it's gonna die any second. This is the last thing to ever be on analog TV. And
They're
it
like,
went out
it's an
and they're
episode of Sex in the City. What a stupid show. Okay, here it comes.
It's so good.
I'm like, that is so cool. Like, why aren't there more people out there? They're like, I guess now
'Cause
what's
stuff like
cool,
that doesn't
right?
happen
But
anymore. Like-
yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I don't even know what to like equate that to now. Like,
Well, it's like when was the last time when did we all decide that we weren't putting CD players in cars? And when did we all decide
Isn't
that
that crazy?
like there's certain things like there's going to be a point in which the last car that has like a built-in radio, it's just all going to be a screen.
and such a bummer because that was such a thing for me in high school.
CDs?
Like burning CDs, and like I had this book of CDs in my car, and like just I was like so into that, like my music, like this. And I've told the story about my like iPod too. Like it was so like tangible for me, and I feel like I love Spotify now. I think it's great, but you lose that kind of like physical media thing that is like the whole thing behind vinyl. And
Sometimes I feel like
Whatever.
you are
Go ahead.
born out of just like a slightly different generation time.
What do you mean?
You know, like you feel like
you're an old soul.
you feel like the guy like when there was tapes, like the guy
Sure.
that used to have
Oh.
a bunch of tapes and plug them. You know
like
what I'm saying?
you
Love
were
it.
a stoner in the 70s. You fell asleep and woke back up as a little baby.
It's
in
not a
the
it's,
90s.
Yeah.
not, it's not a
No,
it's not a dig
no,
at all. It's actually a compliment.
No,
You have that
thank
skull.
you. Yes, and I do. I feel like that. I absolutely do. Like short of being like I was born in the wrong generation, like because that's such a pick me thing these days, like on
Yeah.
TikTok.
I was
Especially
born.
when girls do it. I'm like, oh, really? You wanted to be in a different generation without
But-
rights?
Like I truly, yeah, exactly. For men,
Shut
awesome
up.
time, awesome time.
Yeah, you,
want-
guys, you guys could go back
wait.
anytime and you're
You
great.
want to be around when you didn't have any rights? Okay.
Yeah, okay, Susan, simmer
But
down.
like,
chill.
I just
Yeah,
love.
Yeah, but you would have looked great in a beehive.
You want to go to the soda shop? Really? Come on, not worth it. I vibe so much with like cassette tapes and like typewriters and like just like physical weird technology that's like in between, old school and this like new bastardized world we live in now. Where like everything's on your phone and like who gives a hell?
I seriously can like actually see you with your CD binder being like, oh, you got to listen to this, like flipping through it, and being like, check this
Absolutely.
out.
Absolutely.
100%. I probably still have
Awesome.
it somewhere.
Should find
Maybe
it.
I'll bring it in one
Yeah.
week.
Well, Annie's checked out.
Annie's-
So, the
No,
show's over.
my aunt and uncle are moving. My mom
Oh,
always
breaking news. This is breaking
Robbie,
news.
Wait,
you
go ahead,
always
go
have the
ahead.
most breaking news.
Go ahead.
As of today, my aunt and uncle have decided to move to. I don't know.
Wait, where do they move? Where are they moving to?
Just another freaking giant ass house in San Diego. Congrats. Thanks on being rich.
We wanted so much more
Down
for them.
with capitalism.
It was the perfect ending.
I know it was.
Two.
It was.
Da-da-da.
Two. Find out next week.
Da-da-da-da.
Folks, we want to thank our Patreon supporters as well as Texas Roadhouse.
TRH.
You guys are making this program happen every week.
Audie.
And you know what? It makes me want to have a little what's the thing? Cactus blossom.
Cactus. I love
Oh,
Cactus
really?
Blossom.
You're gonna forget their famous
Couple
Cactus Blossom?
of baskets of rolls, a little maple butter,
Let's be real, and the rattlesnake bite.
couple of rattlesnake
love
bites.
rattlesnake
You
Oh,
guys,
I'm dreaming of
you
it.
guys
now.
want Texas Roadhouse for lunch or?
Or breakfast?
John
What?
got chores to do. On the couch
Yeah,
as
he has
always,
errands.
Annie the Skovmand. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And we'll see you next week on What the Podcast.
Well, I won't be here, but
Oh, bye, Annie.
bye. If I don't come back, all my money goes to gasoline.
Gasoline. Big gasoline.
Oh, big gasoline.
Big gasoline.
Okay. All right.
Are we just waving the whole time?